One of the community's most controversial tournaments is officially upon us this weekend with the Global Challenge. Now, for those of you who are unaware of what the Global Challenge is, it is basically 15 battles a day for a total of 45 in best of one closed team sheet format, as if you had just jumped onto Battle Stadium and clicked battle. That is basically what we're getting here. You get 45 battles, and the top placing players receive championship points towards a potential qualification for Worlds. Now, that right there is the stressful part, right? There is always so much stress involved. Everybody's chasing those valuable championship points. And of course, there's going to be tons of cheesy strategies because best of one closed team sheet, everybody is trying to gain that edge. Now today, having played in 4 to 5 of these a year for the last 5 years, I figured I would share my top 5 tips to help you guys perform the best that you can in this upcoming global challenge. Tip number 1, take breaks, guys, and I cannot stress this enough. This is not just after a loss, but basically what I'm trying to say here is only play when you are in the correct headspace. Sometimes you're going to lose in this format and it's just not going to be pretty. It's best of one closed team sheets. That's where you might want to take a break. Now, I'm not saying this has to be a 6-hour break before you play another set of games, right? Like, all I'm saying is really make sure you are in the right headspace before you jump in to your next game. Whether this is something as small as getting up from your chair, walking around, cooling off, getting a glass of water, anything of that. Take that nice little break, get yourself back in the right headspace and and then go back into your game. There are potentially so many things that could go wrong in this tournament, in this format. So taking that break, making sure you're in the right headspace is my number 1 tip. Tip number 1.5, since it kind of follows suit, and I hear a lot of this, is wait till the last day to play or do not play right away. And granted, I see the aspect of doing this, okay? I really truly do, because you can potentially earn a higher rating because on the last day, everybody else's ratings are higher, right? Because then as you're climbing up, you're appropriate playing other players that are at that higher elevation, right? So it technically does result in a little bit of a higher rating over time. And it also allows you to have a more accurate reading based on your rating of the opponents. Now, what I mean by this is on day 1, if I just play games right away and I'm at rating 1500s because that's where you start, I could pull somebody at 1500s and I don't know if they're amazing. I don't know if they're maybe just a newer player. There is no way for me to know their indication of their skill. Whereas if I wait till the Sunday or the last day to play, all of a sudden I play somebody and they're at 1526. Now, granted, it could be someone that also just started today, but you have a more justified approach of saying, okay, 1526 is probably similar to what their skill level may be. Now, obviously, this isn't a foolproof plan, but I see the concept. My main concern with waiting till this last day or waiting till the second last day or not playing right away is, one, you may not have time, but the biggest problem I have right now is you limit your ability to take a break, right? Obviously, you know your own limits, but sometimes, you're just going to get hacked out and you're going to need to step away from the game. If I wait till the last day to play, 1, I might run out of time if I try to take these breaks, or 2, I'm not going to be able to take the breaks, and all of a sudden, I am going to be playing 45 games of Pokemon in 7.5 hours, and that just doesn't sound healthy by any standards, right? That is a sure way to tilt. That is a sure way to get fed up with the game. That is a sure way for burnout and a sure way to hate your experience playing this global challenge. So yes, while you could do it, you could wait till the last day and play a little bit for a higher rating and have a more accurate read on your opponents. I strongly do not recommend it. Tip number 2, make sure your team has a purpose. Now, I say this a lot going into new formats as well, because there's so many different strategies going around. Making sure your team has a purpose and a designated game plan for something to do when you don't know what to do is very, very helpful. Whether this is maybe my game plan is going to be to set Trick Room, my game plan is going to howl with Gouging Fire, right? Regardless of what that strategy is, make sure there is at least one of those strategies on your team so you can send something in the case where I have no clue what's happening on my other side of the field. I'm going to execute my strategy. Now, alongside this, reactive strategies such as balance tend to be tough to pilot in these formats because you can't see the open sheet. You only have one game. As a balanced player myself, a lot of the times, I shouldn't say a lot of the times, but sometimes, you lose game 1, right? And in best of one closed team sheets, you can't afford to lose game 1 because that's it. The set's over. You're done. You just move on to the next match, right? So the balance strategies do lose value. I'm not saying they're bad by any means, because if you can play a balanced team incredibly well, you're going to have a lot of answers to a lot of things, and that is really positive still. However, it is more prone to potentially just being attacked by a cheesy strategy or being steamrolled by some crazy hyper offense strategy that you just weren't expecting, and you don't have the ability to adjust to like you normally would in a best of 3. So farthering this point, does that mean unconventional strategies are good? Now, what I will say here is that yes, unconventional strategies are good. However, I'm not talking off the wall. The other day, I was laddering with my friend, prepping for this challenge, and they pull up, and the opponent is running Illumise Shieldon. Is Illumise Shieldon a strategy that you should be running in this global challenge? I think absolutely not. But is it unconventional? Absolutely, right? So when I say unconventional, I'm talking things that maybe appear one way but present another way, right? So maybe you pull something like Archaludon, Urshifu, let's say Urshifu Dark and Torn, right? If I'm going into a game and I see this core, I'm expecting this to be Rain with Urshifu Water, right? So my opponent now is going to prep for Urshifu Water. However, I can potentially have an unconventional strategy where I take this common core and say, hey, I can go Urshifu Dark, have Sunny Day, maybe pair that with like a Flutter Mane, and all of a sudden what went from a Rain core and they're prepping for Rain is now all of a sudden a Sun team. And they just have no real way to counter it because they were expecting Rain. And in best of 1 closed team sheets, something like that is a very strong unconventional strategy, right? Take a common team, switch a few of the sets, make them think twice, make them prep for something else, and then have your game plan executed as they're trying to catch up to whatever your fake strategy is, so to speak, right? Now, obviously, inherently speaking, this does open a door for other Pokemon, right? You have the likes of Whimsicott, which is very good in closed sheets best of 1. Encore is really strong, right? You also have the likes of Smeargle. This Pokemon can effectively learn almost every move in the game, and whether that's clicking Choice Scarf Spore, whether it's clicking Follow Me, whether you're going to decorate your partner for a boost +2/+2, right? There are tons of these types of strategies. So make sure you're more than welcome to go unconventional. Sometimes just making sure your opponent doesn't have a way to approach this or wouldn't have a game plan into it if they see it is technically a really strong way to approach this tournament. Now, the way I look at this is, take, for example, Jamie Boy, a really strong European player. They always show up to tournaments with incredibly cool teams. Now, a lot of the times I would discourage playing those teams. However, something like a Jamie Boy is a player like Jamie Boy or a team like Jamie Boy's teams in this tournament are really strong, because a lot of the times you will have your game plans. You'll have your game plans mapped out, and your opponent is going to need to take a game to say, hold on a second, what's going on here? And in closed sheets best of 1, not every day of the week is someone going to have an answer to something like a Choice Scarf Smeargle. By the time they realize it's Choice Scarf Smeargle, or by the time they realize this Whimsicott has Cotton Spore or Encore, it's often too late for them to be able to do anything. And that's where I think taking these teams that are slightly unconventional but can match up well into common stuff are really strong. Tip number 3. Watch other people's runs. There are going to be tons of streamers with this. I will list a few that I know of for certain down in the comment section for you guys to look into. But the main thing here, and this really doesn't help your run in any way, but it's also entertaining. It is a great use of tip number 1, which is take breaks. So I need to cool off for a bit. Let's go watch one of my favorite streamers. Let's see what they're up to in the global challenge right now, right? That is a great way to utilize that. Because while you're utilizing this, while you're having fun, while you're being entertained by the streamer, you are also picking up on some of the other strategies that are being used by others in this tournament, right? So maybe, the Thursday night I don't want to play, the Friday I just won't want to play, and I will be watching one of my favorite streamers, and they'll play a strategy that's just like, I don't know, something completely off the wall, right? Maybe the following day I'm now playing my run and I see these same 6 Pokemon. That's something for me to go, oh yeah, I remember seeing this already. All of a sudden I know what I'm expecting. I know what I can expect from that spot, and that really does pay dividends in the long run if you can guess the opponent's strategy. Now, I'm not saying you're always going to be able to guess. I'm not saying it's always going to work out, but it's just overall, it's just a great use of your time because it's entertaining. And of course, while you're taking your break anyways, and then at the end of the day, hey, maybe you're able to pick up on a strategy that's being common and you're able to recognize it next time you're playing your set of games. Tip number 4. You are going to lose. And yes, I know this sounds like a very doomsday, guys, but you are going to lose. This is a best of one closed team sheet tour. At some point, you are going to lose a game. I hate to break it to you, but at some point, you are going to lose a game. Whether that is because of hacks, whether that is because of some sort of wacky strategy, this is a great time to take that break that I was so talking about, right? Last year, I played Terra Electric Dondozo in front of my Gyarados, and it just clicked Terra Blast and I lost my Gyarados, okay? Like, that's just one of those ones, like, you can try to laugh off, but something in the back of your mind is going to be tilted from that, right? Something like that is going to happen. You are not going to be able to win 45 straight games. Some people will get very close, but you are going to lose, at some point in this tournament. So this is a great time to take a break. Don't worry about it, is what I'm trying to say here. You're going to lose. It's going to happen. It is the nature of this tournament. You are going to lose. It's going to happen. Let it be okay. One loss isn't going to hurt you all that much. However, one loss into trying to play another game immediately, into playing that game tilted into a loss, is just going to make you spiral going, oh, now I got to get those points back. Let's click again and again and again. And all of a sudden, you've lost 300 rating points because you just kept trying to get back to what you were before. You didn't take that appropriate break, reset, and make sure you're in that right headspace. So like I said, tip number 4, guys, you're going to lose. Accept it. One loss isn't going to hurt you all that much at the end of the day. Just take your break. Make sure you prevent that spiral. That's what we are looking for with tip number 4 right now. Tip number 5, this is my cop-out tip, okay? Tip number 5 is have fun. Now, I know, but Ryan, this is competitive. How am I supposed to have fun? I'm trying to win, and I get that. Okay, I really, truly do get that. But having fun is one of the best ways to approach this because, like I said, there's going to be cheesy strategies. You are going to lose. So if you're in there so stressed out about the next game, so stressed out about your rating, you are not going to be playing at the top of your game because you're going to be so stressed out about other factors. It's very similar to when you are trying to make a regional run. You have to focus on one game at a time, one set at a time, because if you focus on more than that, as much as you tell yourself that, oh, it's not really affecting you, it is probably affecting you, right? If I am sitting at round 3 of a tournament and I am at the 1 and 2 tables, let's just say, and I am thinking about, oh, how I have to win 6 in a row to make day 2 at this tournament, that's going to affect me. I have to erase that from my memory for the second, focus on the set in front of me. In this case, focus on the game in front of me. Just have fun playing Pokemon because at the end of the day, that's why we should be playing this game, right? Like, in my opinion, like I said, it's my cop-out answer, okay? It's my cop-out answer. At the end of the day, we should be having fun playing this game. If you are not having fun because you are so stressed out, change that approach. Have some fun with this. And guys, at the end of the day, we're already confirmed for 2 more of these global challenges, at least this year, right? So, okay, maybe you don't have a great run this one. Learn from your mistakes this time. Maybe you can look back and say, hey, you know what? My team was a little bit too conventional. It was a little bit too reactive. It didn't really force anything, right? You take that lesson, you move on, you fix that going into the next global challenge, right? So, yes, while I say have fun as a cop-out answer, it is also one of the best ways to kind of just, if you're having fun with it, you're going to be a lot less stressed. You're going to be able to learn, and you're going to be able to come back stronger in the next global challenge. So guys, hopefully these 5 tips find you great success in the global challenge, allow you to hit whatever goal you set for yourself in this tournament. But of course, guys, at the end of the day, have fun. And if you do enjoy this type of video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And of course, I really, really do appreciate it. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to stop rambling now. Best of luck to everybody in the global challenge, and I will catch you all in a future video.